the application creations and other things?
Not from my side.
No question here.
Okay, great. Okay, so there is one more guy maybe joining in soon. Okay, we'll fine.
Mukesh, actually, I am yet to receive that some documents and those things.
Yeah, I'll send that today, Suraj.
Okay, okay, okay. No worries.
I'll send you the link for download as well so that you can install it.
Okay,
So I'll
okay.
send you that today.
Sure, sure, sure. Thank you. So how was the day, the weekend, Mukesh?
For me, yeah, it's actually as usual. Actually, like, I do some more training batches apart from that. So in weekend, I've
Oh,
also not got free.
oh. Fully occupied, huh?
But I just want to some of the things actually I just want to reduce some of the bed. So maybe like next month onwards I'll be a little bit free on that. But
Hey,
now
Mukesh, next week Saturday is 31st night. Are you gonna have class?
no. That I told yesterday I think 31st
I,
and 1st we'll have vacation. Actually that need family actually everybody wants to actually need a vacation. So I'm also going on some vacation. So I'll be not available on that time.
oh, so next week Saturday, Sunday, no class.
No class.
Okay, oh, cool.
Okay. So we have created the application and then yeah, so there you can see that we have created the different way of handling that, and it's going to create the complete structure. If you want to see the complete structure of the same, you can see the complete structure for that. Okay, so this is like the with the organization how the structure of that the complete class happens in Pega. You can see that within the framework again that same structure is there with that. Okay, so today what we are going to do is we are not going to cover from Pega point of view. We'll cover some other aspect of Pega now. We'll come back to this window after that.
Okay.
Yep. There is one more PPT before that. This we have already covered. Mhm. Mhm. Fine. I think we can start with this. Yeah. So let's see. For a business object architect point of view, right? So we'll start with the first thing. Actually, like how the requirements, how the objectives are. We should write. Actually, what is the concepts behind as a Pega best practice? How we should go for Pega objectives and requirements. Okay. So as a Pega best practice, you can see that how you can go for an objectives, right? Actually, what is the how we can go with the objectives, okay? And what is a smart objective? So that objective when we are writing, it should be hi Jayaprakash, I've just started. Okay, so today's session we are just going to talk about the objectives and requirements. Okay, as per the business architect, it's good to know what is in the Pega point of view, a good objective and good requirement. So that actually we are going to see the 5 attributes, the smart attributes. We'll see that out. Okay. So when we go for and actually when then if you like in Pega also when we are doing the application creation, right, we see that we have written the business objectives. So business objectives should be actually when we're writing that it should be smart enough, and it's actually like going to describe that what you want to achieve, right? Actually like that business results or any business problem you want to achieve from that business objective, and it should be quantifiable one, or it's like it should be time bound. So how soon you want to achieve your objective, but without time bound actually you can't measure that one. So that's the it should be measurable one, it should be specific. So that's the smart one. We'll see that in the next one. So the business objective when we are defining, it should be give the clear picture what business problem you want to achieve and how it should you can going to measure, and it should be time bound as well. So that's the all the things you want to achieve from the business objective. So when you are defining the business objectives, it can be of the short term, long term, or intermediate. So based on that, you can define your business objectives. So when you define the short term, actually like if you have going for a new application, or if you want to making some significant change to your initial application, so that time you mainly like mainly taking care for the onboarding of the things, like how the new users are going to learn the skills and everything. So the maybe your objective should be based on that. So like you can transform from the existing user to the new platform for these many users, like that we define in the short term. And the intermediate actually like how we can increase the target, like from the a predefined target to the higher target. So that actually we define into the intermediate term. In the long term, actually like if something is actually like like it's matured now, so that long term objective will be a matured one. Actually it will be a complete transformation from the existing platform to the new platform, or they have made it like a made significant change on that part, like from earlier they are processing something on paper, they want to convert completely onto the electronically. So that actually how much percentage they have achieved, so that they can see that out. So that objectives when we are going for, it can be short, be intermediate, or long term. So next topic is talked about the that smart objectives. When we are writing the objectives, it should be smart one. So what do you mean by smart? It should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be achievable, it should be relevant, and it should be time bound. Okay, so that's the Pega's way to define a objective. The objective should be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And how we are going to measure that? So there should be some KPIs. So it's like the key performance indicator should be included in your objective. So what do you mean by key performance indicator? Like it's depend on to the which type of business you are doing. Based on that, you can define your indicator. So if you like your sales target, or something like in insurance, like claim processing, how often you are handling your claims. So that all the things you can enter as a KPIs for your business objectives. So when you are defining the objectives, try to involve the KPIs within the objective, so that you can measure it in a good manner. And always when we are writing the objectives, it should contain the verb, action verb, like increase, decrease, reduce, limit, update. So all that are the action verbs that should be included into the to provide the SMART objective. So the next thing is your like we're going to discuss each by each one. What do you mean by specific? What do you mean by measurable? And how you can go for that one. So that's actually, like, if you can say, there is a car rental company, okay, and they are actually doing in business in some other platform, and they want to go for online one. So how they can see the objective? So that's the three of the things. Use clear language to describe what must be delivered, right? So it will, like, the objective which is written, complete 1,000 or more car reservation online each month by end of quarter 2017. Okay. So here actually, like, if you see from this, actually, like, what you want to do, you want car reservation, right? So that's the you want to actually achieve from that. So the objectives which we have written in our one in our application, that's not the SMART one, because we have not given any time bound when we have written our application, right? So if you see in our application, if you go to the overview window of it, right, to improve the supply chain. So does it sound a SMART one? No, actually, like, we have just created the normal one. So this will not is a time bound, is not specific what you want to improve, right? In the supply chain, there is a multiple things are there. What you want to improve, when you want to improve, it's all the things are missing in this one. So normally, if you are writing the business objectives, you should consider the other facts with that. Okay, so that's actually, like, what we want to achieve and how we are going to achieve our goal. So that's we need to go for specific part of it. The measurable already told, actually, like, use some verbs, so that it will, like, action verbs, use the conditions and KPIs to in your objective, so that like, from the action verbs, actually, like, you can say that, like, what you are going to do, right? So that the complete is the action verb. So that's actually, like, if you want to use like that, we can start with the different objectives for that. So that's the if you can say, like, how much you want to achieve. You want to achieve 1,000 or more reservation. Okay. Then actually, like, say actually, like, maybe based on your condition, you can say 1,000, right? So if you say, actually, I want to go for 1 lakh and I have just 10 cars with me, can I achieve that? No. So it's depend on that. Like, it may be achievable if you have the number of populations are more, and if you want to achieve for 10,000, it might be possible for you. So it depend on to the circumstance, and actually depend on your condition. You need to give your objectives achievable one. Okay, so that's the maybe actually when you are putting that to business objectives to someone, it should be a achievable target. Like, if you not able to achieve it, the target, then actually it will be disappointment for all the stakeholders for that. So try to put the target which is achievable one. Okay, so that's the achievable business objective. Then relevant is, so if you say it should be relevant to your own business, right? So actually, if you say they are actually the car rental company, so they are looking for the car reservation online. They are not talking about the other part of it. Actually, they want to do some car selling or some old car, or just something they want to sell. Whatever the cars are getting old, they want to sell it. So that's not the exact business value they are going to get it from that. So it should be relevant to the business and relevant to the what solution we are going to provide that. So that should, the objective should be a relevant one. And actually already time bound. So that's actually I told it should be like quarter 2017. So target date or some timeline should be there in the objective to get the exact picture of it. So when you want to achieve that target. So that's the smart objectives should be there. So that's the Pega's template when we going for this one. So Pega actually like give the template to provide the, so that's actually who and what you want to specific part of it. And in this actually you are going to give the measurable and what you want to achieve, right? By rate percentage of change so that you can give it here and when you want to achieve it. So this one actually we can see one more example, reduce customer response time from 12 hours to 24 hours to 12 hours by third quarter. So might be it's taking now actually if we say some customers online reservation, right? So it might be taking 24 hours to respond him as a SLAs. So that you want to reduce to 12 hours. So that's again one of the objective in that, and I think everything is in these objectives are maybe achievable one. It can be it's smart as well, it's specific as well, and time bound as well. Okay. Yeah. So in normal ways, once we have defined the objectives, and based on that objectives, we started to the convert that into requirements, like how we are going to achieve it, right? Actually, we should go with that part and say this one. So this one is like this is the response time. So what are the different ways to contact with the customer? Like it can be a phone, SMS, or email, right? So that's the in the requirement we need to check with that. So that's in the requirement. Actually, like what we got it. Actually, we convert the objectives into more refined way to do that. So here you can see that it's actually like talking about the email part of it. So when we are saying response time, it can be of the different channel. So if we say actually like we are talking about the requirement. So they actually we say that the requirement we have got from this one. Each customer will receive an email response no later than 12 hours after the timestamp of their initial phone call. Okay. And what they are going to include that in that email. So that also we have talked about that. Sorry. Okay. And then from the requirement, we more actually like refine that one to specification. So that will be more detailed way of requirements. So this is will be like who will be the who is going to act on this, what is his task, and what is the it's going to resolve that. So all that we going to write into the specification. So that will be the requirements is converted into specifications, the functional specifications, and that functional specification will be used by technical design team to build the application. So that's the normal way when we go for an objectives to the complete application, objective, requirements, specification, and final the build of it. Okay. So now some of the questions will be there in the objectives one. What are the things objective? We'll see that out. Okay. Can you see this one? Tell me that is the following objectives a measurable one? Reduce customer support call for cancelled rental car reservation by 30% by end of fourth quarter. If this is a measurable one?
Yes, I think so. Because he could measure if it's a drop to 30% or not, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's actually like it's a measurable one. But if you can see, for which, like it's a current one, right? If you say you are one actually only thing is there. So from which 30% you want to reduce it? Mm-hmm. So it's a current one or from last year's or like or the current month, right? So that thing was missing in this one. So from which cancel rental car reservation you want to get the 30% of it.
Got it.
So that, like, you don't have that for which reference you want to going to be the 30%. So it should be right actually one of the current rate or current month, current year or last year. By that you want to reduce it, right? So from that, like from you can like something actually what happened is we assume the things. Okay, it's actually like it can be today or like the current one or like that way.
Yeah, I mean, it
Right.
doesn't set duration like which month
And
comparing.
also, yeah, for which year also is not there. It's not time bound. Actually, also it says that it's not time bound. Like by what time? Fourth quarter of which year,
Got it.
right? So there's two things are missing in this one. Okay. Okay. So name 3 action verbs which we have not seen in the slides.
Action verb, list 3 action verb.
Yeah. The complete, limit, reduce, increase, update. Apart from that, action verbs. Actually, one of them you use improve, right? It was not there in this. Improve. There is decrease.
Increase.
We can go for enhance, right? So there are the other words we can go for that. Okay. Okay. Then I told about this one, right? Why it is a good practice to include metrics in business objective. The KPIs. Requires each authorized activity. Figure needs
So it's
use activities to create.
So I guess it's keep a balanced scorecard strategy, like it shows all the rules regulation.
Yeah, actually that's if you tool, right? Actually, like how you can going to measure it. So, uh, so if you are going to measure it, so like already we try to get that when the new application is created, there are some performance indicator, how that is happening, or it is like whatever the target we have kept that, we check that out in different performance ways. So that's the performance indicator will give the, like, are we are going to meet our objective or not. So that will be, so it's always good to include the KPIs into the, to include the targets and all that. Okay. So the questions wise, you will get the same type of questions in exams as well. Actually, like for when you go for a certification exam, you might get this type of questions in that one. Okay. Yeah. So this is, if you can say, from the list of A, B, C, D. So which objective is smart one?
Auto produce service price completely in case.
I think D.
No, not B is not smart.
I think D as in the David.
Yeah.
So because
Okay. Come on, Suraj. Actually, what's actually your point? So
okay, so I think they have mentioned like they want to convert the leads 35%, and we have mentioned the timeline. It's within 30 days, and which 30
Yeah,
days, like initial contract by fourth quarter of 2017.
yeah. So that's actually like, see, within the initial contract of the 30 days, right? So they want to
Yeah.
that, whatever the contract they got, let's say they got 100 in the initial of the 30 days,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they want to
Yeah.
increase that 35% more,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, so that actually like, so this is actually a sales target. So this is actually like if you say, you have leads and you want to convert them into actual customers.
Okay.
So this is actually, you can say, it's more like it's a complete one.
Yeah. D, na?
So
Yeah.
yes, D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
told D only.
oh, okay. Someone is told B. Somewhere I've listened B.
No, no, it was D actually. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So why actually like now actually we'll see why all the other three are not smart.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is not time bound, right?
Yes.
So there is like not written in a not in objective manner. So in the what in B you cannot measure it if you like what sales percentage you want to increase, right?
Correct.
And what about the three? It's actually again not time bound. And what's on time and what on budget? It's actually like what do you mean by on time and what on budget, right? So that's actually you cannot measure that also. What do you mean by on time and on budget? It's a very general statement.
Yeah, so Ashok, so if you see B, so B it's saying like we can increase the sales by 30%, and when it by second quarter of 2019.
Yeah,
So I think the only part which is missing, like from when it has to be calculated, like starting from when, is it that?
right. That's right.
Okay.
You cannot like it's you cannot be measure that like by what sales it is going to increase by 30%, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Otherwise it's like it's also like give the more on that of actually like if you want to increase the sales of what elsewhere also there if they have multiple things if that as well.
So, so Mukesh, like in the questions, like there can be a chances like if one of more options is correct.
No, actually that's the confusing one. It will be ambiguous. So
No,
if you see
I'm asking like the questions which will come like
no no
during
no
a certain,
if
yeah.
yeah
So it will
if
be
it will
always
be
a
there
single.
if it will be there it will give you that how many answers you need to choose.
Okay.
So if it is two answers will be true it will tell you that you have to choose two answers from that.
Okay.
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 So this is actually again the again one. So from this which option is smart one?
Okay, what is this? Okay, in this limit customer response to more than so they can get. I would say B as in boy.
Yep, that's right, Mashud. Yeah, that's actually like the complete one, right? Other
Yeah,
one
this is more like a requirement, so I that's why getting it right. Like I have to be. It's like the way I'm looking at it. It has to be accurate requirements, no ambiguity.
mm-hmm, that's right. And actually like it's a time bound. Other one are no time bound, right? If you can
Yeah,
say A, C, D are not time bound. There is no time bound in that. So directly
yeah.
you can reduce that. Okay. So the limit customer response time to no more than 24 hours so that we can increase our NPS. So there you can see that they have included the KPI as well. So the NPS by 5 points. So there's the KPI they have included as well. Okay. Yep. So the next one.
This is the one reference either before or after the day.
So this one is like the different one. This is the benefits we are going to get it from the smart objective.
Okay.
I think
This
A
kind
and C.
of,
A and C.
I would put B again.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's A and C for me. It's
Okay. Okay. So do you define any constraint, definition, and an operation in the objective?
yeah. So basically, like when the requirement is defined, so we starts with like it's objective and what are the different the definitions, also the operations and assumptions, the constraints, the dependencies.
Do you define that in an objective?
Not in the objective, but as a part of the requirement.
That's a requirement, right? I feel like
Yeah.
now we are just talking about the objectives.
Oh, okay. You have to. Oh, okay.
See, actually in this actually there is actually clear. So this is like when we talked about, right, it should be specific to Pega solutions as well. When we are writing the define the, and one of the slides I saw that when we are
Yeah.
writing the objective, it should be relevant to the Pega solutions as well, right? So that's actually, it should be relevant to the business objective, add values to the business, and are relevant to the Pega solution.
Okay. Okay.
So that you can see that answer is one of them will be the
D.
D one.
Yeah, D.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that you define value of the Pega solutions to the business.
Okay, but
Okay.
here it is mentioned two. Choose two.
Yeah. So one of them is 2, okay, and the C, right, the measurable one. So
Yeah.
you are going to include the how you can going to measure it. So they measure the amount of the progress achieved towards a specific goal and can be reported on during the application development.
Okay, so I think it's C and D.
Yes, it's C and D. So they don't define actually what modification, what changes you are going to do, right? Objective doesn't say about that. And they doesn't describe this as well. Operation, definition, constraint, right?
Yeah. So it was more on the requirement side, but not on the specific objective. Yeah, fine, got it.
So it should be C and D. Yeah, so that's actually like we have covered the objectives. How should we go for objective and what are the different, how we can go for smart objective. Now we'll come back to the requirements. Okay. So we'll cover up, we'll cover the issue also before going into the page. Okay. So now actually like there are 5 attributes which related to a good requirement. We'll see that out. And what is the 3 analysis activity? We'll see that. What is the purpose? We'll see that out. And the DCO, okay? DCO is the main thing which is actually we in Pega called as direct capture of objectives. So there actually like what we do is we define the requirements, objectives, and that convert into specification in a meeting, actually in a workshops or actually with that. Though that's actually we mainly called as DCO sessions. Okay. So we'll see that, and there is actually like the categorize the requirement is a functional requirement, is a business requirement, or is a non-functional requirement. So we'll see that and what are the type of requirement are belongs to what category. Okay. So when we do the requirements, right, from the actually like from the objectives, okay. So you have a business objectives or a business problem, and what are the different things how you are going to achieve that. So the first thing when we are going to do the requirements is who is the sponsors of it, right? Who are the stakeholders for the your business problem. So you need to identify who has taken the interest on that one and who is going to influence the solution, like on the proposed solution, they want to go for it or not. What is in the business problem, what is we can achieve it and how we can achieve it. So they want to go for that or not. All that we need to go for the this project sponsors or the business stakeholders. So they are actually the main users, like project sponsors, business stakeholders, and end users. So they are the main person who are going to do that part. So there is the project sponsors will be like the impact onto the influence and on the decision side, right? End users are nothing but they are the actual users for the new build application or the existing application changes will be done for them. And then the project stakeholders actually who is going to uh, actually build the design and complete that thing, the managers, developers, and the big up side of that thing. So there are the different stakeholders which are going to be involved into the requirement side. Okay, and then what is actually mean by a requirement, right? So the requirement is actually like if we can say how we can going to achieve the business problem. What are the different things you need to do to achieve the business problem or business objective? So that can be a functional or is a non-functional. So it's a capability or quality or constraint we need to see on the requirements. And anyway, actually like if you say always says, right, actually the stakeholders are the main person, like what they need, right? So that actually we need to, when we are defining the requirements, we need to focus on to their the needs. And any point of time, if there is the area of improvement, we need to take care of that as well. Like we need to understand how they are doing the current process and how we can improve that as well, or any new things which we can involve to improve the efficiency as well. So that all the three further things we can, when we are defining the requirements, we can go with that as well. And finally, like as a Pega's point of view, we can capture the requirements and objectives directly in Pega solution itself. So that will be like good to actually when we are going to include the requirements and objectives in Pega. So anytime we don't need to refer some external systems to define the requirements and objectives to see it there. We can directly see that details in Pega solutions itself. So that will be safe for developers and also for testers as well, because that will be going to be the part of the application itself. Okay. Yeah. So when we are going to do the requirement analysis, right? Actually, like the main thing, actually, the business architect uses actually like they are going to talk with business stakeholders, and they will take that. Okay, what is actually like the current applications does? What is the current process? What is the capabilities into that? And what are the things they are looking for to improve that, right? So all that things, they first actually like get the, from the business point of view, they got the business requirements from the business users and business stakeholders. And sometimes actually like it say happen that business people are not that good in to describe their problems. Right. So what happen is actually like we need to check with them like what they need, what's actually like actual they are looking for, or what the problem are facing for, but why they are facing it, right? So we need to look for all other aspects for to asking them more and more questions, right? So when we ask the questions, actually might they will give you the better answers onto that. So once based on their more answers, we can ask more questions to clarify our requirements, and any ambiguity or any doubt which we have, we can clear that out. So that's the different questions we can ask to them, like what they want to like achieve from the new application, what will be the expected output, what are the different capabilities they want to achieve it, right? So they want actually like send to communication or in email, or want to send an SMS, they want actually like a mobile browser, or they want like online only, or they just want to like within their systems itself. So there are the different ways you want to, so there are the different capabilities you want to include in your project, so that you can check that out. And do you have any reporting requirements, like in what basis you want to going to report, all that we can, as part of different questions, we can check with them. Okay, and based on their response, we can clear more doubts, and that will give the refinement onto the requirements. And if there is no like if it's something that like the requirements itself is not clear, so it will be difficult for the technical team to build upon based on that. So the requirements what we are going to define, that should be clear and concise one. Okay, so that's the main purpose for requirement analysis. So now we'll see that what are the different tips for writing good requirements. So this is actually from the Pega point of view, they have given 8 or 10 different characteristics of a good requirement. Okay, so that's actually like if it's a good requirement, it should be clear and concise. It should be understood by both business and for the technical team as well. So the first thing is it should be verifiable one. So that can be see that the requirements which we have written, it can be tested to support that. So within the Pega application, we can test that requirement. So that's some of the examples. So if we something actually for the car reservation, actually like what is you are doing the car reservation, right? So that actually we can say the user can see the vehicles by different ways of that. They can see from the price, they can see the MAC, they can see from the model and by the location as well. So this is actually we can also test it in the Pega application as well. Okay. Then based on the clear and concise, when we are writing the requirements, okay, it should be in a brief summary of the requirement. It should not be short one, or it should not be long one as well. So that's actually we need to take care of that. So when we are writing the requirement, we should use the active voice, not passive voice. And actually, like you should not write some actually like spellings, punctuation, proper grammar, and all that to give the better picture of the requirements. And then the doubtful statements, which will create some ambiguities to understand that. So we should not write any other words or something like a complex English verb. Like when we're writing a novel, we may try to enhance our poetic knowledge, we can use that. But for a business point of view, actually sometimes that words will be not appropriate. So what the meaning of that word during that, it will create a different confusion. So write some actually like in a common English, so that can be understood by the both business and technical people. And something like some of the short forms or definitions which is required to understand, so that should not be there in the requirement. There should be some link to describe that. If you want to look for more information about the definition and how it should work, all that we can give to the some link to refer that. Okay, so that's actually like we can say glossary for data dictionary, so that we can go and refer that part. Okay. Then it should be complete. All the information should be complete. It's not that it should be half written, right? So that actually we need to go for complete one. Okay, and consistent. So if you like, it's not that you are going to write a single requirement. It can be multiple requirements. So it should be written into the same syntax, same font, right, and same terminology we should follow. And it's depend on to the organization also. Sometimes actually organization has some other standards, so we should follow the specific standards which is followed by organization ways as well. Okay, and when we are writing the requirements, it should not contradict with each other. Like in one requirement we say that we will send email. In other requirement we are saying that we will not send email in this scenario. So both requirements are contradictory one. So we should avoid and actually like try to remove the any contradiction or conflictions between the requirements as well. And that like the terminology already we have talked. So the same terminology should be across the requirements. So that should be consistent. Yep. So normally when we go for that, we go for traceability as well. Like when we are writing the requirements, it should be relate with the business requirements, and it should be traceable with the technical requirements or technical specifications as well. So we should be able to like for the requirement which we have written, it should be traced back from the both front and back as well. So normally, like when we are in the writing in Pega, we write actually like the business objectives. So the requirement should be matched with the business objectives, and it should also map with the specification as well. So if something is like if some requirement is there, but it's not meeting with the business need, right? So that we can make it out of scope, right? So that's actually main thing is that the business objectives, what actually like business need are the main thing, or it should be related with the business objectives as well. So that's the traceable part of the requirement. Then the requirement should be viable. Actually means that we should able to achieve that with the on budget, with the staffs available, staff technology which is with us, with the project schedule. So we should able to complete that, the requirements. So if something that like the requirement is there, the man will fly, right, by 2020. But how we are going to achieve that requirement? It's actually we are not able to achieve that requirement by any means of the manufacturing also. So if you say if you're going with some other point of view, we can achieve the requirement. So the requirement should be achievable one with the with required resource and required timeline. Okay, and then necessary is that like it's something which should be necessary for that. Unnecessary requirements should not be there. Something is like what we are going to achieve, like if you say in the car reservation, we don't want something which is not required for the car reservation one for the current point of time. So it might that in future that might be a necessary one, but if it's something like if it's the initial phase which is not necessary, we can omit that requirement from the application. And it's not that if, like if we are not missing the any necessary requirement as well, we should take care of that as well. So all the customer needs need to be fulfilled from the requirements. Okay, and when we are giving the solution, it requirements, it should not talk about the solution, right? Actually, if we say we are saying actually like we are going to use the Internet Explorer to use that. So that's actually like we can say that's the solution we are going to achieve it. We are going to use some messaging tool or something like that. We can say we are going to use ActiveMQ for messaging. So that's actually like you have including the solutions with the requirement. So that we should not do when we are writing the requirements. So that's the part of the solution architect or technical architect to design that. Okay, so we should not mention the solution when the requirement itself. Yeah, the next is the granular one. So granular is you can say we should not use the conjunction verb like and or. Write two objectives in place of one in case of that. Okay, so if you say like if you say I want to go, I want like something, the both look something. I want to filter by location and also filter by make, model. So if you're writing 4 statements for that, right? So in place of one, you are writing a single statement. So you can say that you can filter by either by Mac. You can also another option. So that should be granular. So you should not use most of the time and or any other conjunction verb to when we are writing the requirement. So you can break them into multiple requirements.
Okay. And when we are writing the error, we many time we do the cut paste thing, and we can make the duplicate of the requirements. So check that out. Any redundant requirement is not there in the final list, and we remove the cut paste of that, or any duplications are removed from the list. And final one is like the understable one. So that actually the requirement which we have written, it should be understood by both business and technical in the same page. There should not be any ambiguity between them. So that this is the different tips for a good requirement. It should be verifiable one, clear and concise, complete, consistent, traceable, viable, necessary, solution free, granular, and understandable one. Okay. Yep. So next is comes as the category of the requirement, how we can categorize the requirement. Okay. So when we discuss about that, there are actually from the Pega point of view, they have categorized the requirement in 5 different categories: business rules, change control, enterprise standards, functional, and non-functional. Okay. So business rules defines that how your business is actually like currently operating, and what are the different constraints, and what are the different features which is available into the organization operations. So these are the main of the business rules. And change control is you have an existing application and you want to modify that application, like you say that change request, right? So that changes may occur before or after the release. So during that you are doing the build, if you got some change control, you can go for that, or after the deployment, like some more requirements are coming, that also part of the change control requirement. And something actually like if you say enterprise standard, so that is actually specific to your organization or specific to some industry standards you want to use. That will be like if you say for your banking one, so there like if you want to use for Swift message for message transfer, right? So that you are going to use a industry standard for your messaging, like for payment and everything. So that's the industry standards, right? So that will be come into the enterprise standard requirement. Like if you say you want to use the logo of the company, right? So that you need to include it here. So every page should contain logo of the application at the left top corner. So that requirement can be part of enterprise one. Functional one is like what the software system do to the need of the business. So that type of the requirement we mainly capture in the functional requirement. And non-functional, actually how we can go for system response, how we can improve the quality of this response, all that are actually part of the non-functional requirement. There are actually many of them, the availability, all that scalability, all that are actually mainly non-functional requirement. How much users it can support, so that all things will come in the non-functional requirement. Okay. So this is actually like if you can see examples of each category, we'll see that out one by one. So business rule requirement. So business rule requirement actually like we already told, it's actually like to avoid the organizational operation, what the define, how we can the current process, right? All that we can see that like currently is happening is a manual way or is an automated way, all that we can achieve from the business rule. Okay. And if you say actually the granular one, so if you say we can make the business rule requirement into granular one or single conclusion, we can see that what we have omitted or any there is there any ambiguity or doubts in the understanding of the business rule requirement. So there is some of the examples which is for given onto the different business requirement. So that is related to different promotions, regulatory or security, or with related to credit score. So this is the explanation which is given to explain the requirement. Okay, so this is a regulatory requirement, this is security requirement, able to do that. So this is other different examples for the business rule requirement. Okay, then change control. So if you say it's like it's actually already they are existing the manual system to print distribution framework with automated solution. So they actually now they are changing. Earlier they were using a separate from the web service. So this is the from the existing, or during the system itself you are making some changes to improve the process. So this is the change control requirement. Enterprise standards. So that actually like if you say one example which I already told, website homepage of each container location include company logo. So that's the company branding guideline. And if you say customer statements are generated in SAP format. So this is the industry standard. You want to generate that for the billings and other purpose. You are going with that. Okay. So that's the enterprise type of the requirement. Then the functional requirement are actually like how in which release you want to achieve that. The user can filter by make, user can filter by this used car by make, user select new car. So this is the functionality what you want to going to do that from your application. So input, output, and the behavior of that. So what actually like after you filter, what you are going to be get it from there. So that all things we get the functional requirements. And non-functional requirement, it's related to the like how your systems is going to behave that. So mainly like it's going to support the functional requirement. Okay. And whenever we do that functional requirement, it should be included with the metrics. So if you say the screen rendering, so when you click on the button, how soon you often the next screen should come. So that's the main thing. We go for different requirements on that. So this is the different we can say non-functional requirements: usability, performance, availability, reliability, scalability, data migration, certifications, security, permissions, operational systems, compliance and delivery, licensing. So there are different non-functional requirements are there, so that you can include that as part of your application. Okay. Yeah. So how okay, this is like one way we are going to see how we can capture like objectives, how we can capture. We have seen that during the application creation we can give the objectives, right? And in the later you want to change that objectives, also you can change that objectives as well. And then we'll see that how we can capture the requirements in Pega. So that we'll not see today, we'll see that in the next class how we can do that. Okay, so today we'll see this one on the next class. So now we are going to see the knowledge check again, and then we'll stop the session for today. And next class I'll show you that how we can add the specification and objectives in Pega. First we'll see the requirements on the next class. Okay, so we'll go for So we'll see this one in the next class. We'll continue with that how we can add the requirements in Pega in next class. Yeah. So this is actually we can see who determine the functionality of an application: business stakeholders, project sponsors, or developers.
Determines functionality is the stakeholder and mainly stakeholders.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
it's the business stakeholders.
Yeah, it could be sponsors, but primary is the stakeholder.
That's the project sponsors. So mainly they, yeah. So they define, yes. Mainly like the business holders will be the main person who define the functionality.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay, you are the business architect on a new project. Your stakeholders have given you a list of 700 requirements. Okay, these requirements are a year old but are very important to customers. What you should do with this information? And there is one thing, earlier it was in a different application. Now you want to include that into the Pega application now.
A and D as in David and
So you need to
F.
see.
I put A, D and F.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because
A,
since this
D,
is
and
1 year
F.
old, so I need to clarify. I wouldn't waste my time putting that into Pega because it could requirements change. Since it's 1 year old, so I'm not gonna waste time in Pega. That's why I choose A, D and F. Because B saying enter the requirements into Pega, why would I want to do that? It could be wrong. Requirements could
Yeah,
be old, right?
right. But see, all the requirements are important, right?
But first I want to listen and clarify those requirements. Then meet with the stakeholder and then F, review the requirements. Then I want to do other things. Am I wrong? I mean, I'm just telling you how I thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it's some no. Actually, see, like you have 700 requirements, right? You cannot.
Uh-huh.
First thing, it's like you need to go with these things. How we can. Uh, so, as a Pega, like that I told, right? You are going to include that. You are going to that into a Pega projects. So first, actually, you should enter that requirements into the Pega,
Oh, okay.
right?
Then categorize.
No, categorize, actually like you don't know, right? Actually you don't
Ah,
know about that, so you cannot categorize from your end.
true. So enter the
And
requirements, then met
that
with
is,
key
like,
stakeholder.
yes, that's actually like that same thing. You should meet with the key stakeholders to learn why
Mhm.
the requirements are important,
True.
right? So that's actually like you can say your B and D. E is wrong, right?
Yes. It could be
Like if you,
F2. Then after D is complete, then F, like review the requirements.
to make sure that they are not
Yeah.
repetitive. Yes.
Yep.
Right. So actually,
Mm-hmm.
like if you cannot go and listen to the clarify things people tell you, right?
Oh,
Like
yes.
initially you need to understand when before you need to check the requirement from your end before listening to the people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually like if you can say first actually you should enter that into the Pega, then meet the key stakeholders to understand that they're important, why they're important, and you should review the requirement is not repetitive one as well. So that thing you can go for. You are the new to the project, right? So you are
Mm-hmm.
not aware of the things. So
Okay.
you're not able to do categorize. You're not able to do the detailed descriptions, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you're not able to listen what people are saying now, right? You
Sure.
don't know the who stakeholders are there. You will not able to listen any people with that. So you need to mean the key stakeholders to understand that one.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be your B, D, and F.
True. Agree.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
one second, Ashok. Sorry, Mukesh.
Yes.
So this E, so we have mentioned like it is first we'll enter the requirement, then we'll meet with the stakeholders and we'll
Mhm.
learn because there are 700 requirements, and then we will review the requirements that are not repetitive. But
Yeah.
then again, next step will be the detailed description of the requirement, right? Is it?
That is like the further one, not now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That actually you need to do. You need to do the listen and clarify with the peoples also. You need to do later, not like you need to categorize the requirement also like later.
Okay, okay, okay. So
So actually,
basically,
like
like
if you initially
everything.
what you are to going to do that.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
Okay. So if you say you are the new to the project, so if you are a business architect on a new project, okay.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
exam will be very confusing. I mean, it's easy, but to me it seems like when you go for the CBP exam, it's gonna be very
Yeah.
confusing.
That's right. Some of the things are actually like the confusing one. You can see that, oh, this answer can be true, and this answer is
Yeah.
right, this can be wrong. So sometimes the questions are ambiguous one in this one.
Like this statement that describe the purpose of the regular RSA.
State the statement that does describe the purpose of requirement analysis.
C and D.
Yeah, it should be C and D. Determine what is needed to solve the particular business problem and how the particular group of stakeholders will interact with the application. So that should be your requirements. So actually, like, see, first is wrong, right? It's a prototype. We are not going to create the prototype into the application, and we don't replicate the existing functionality, right? Then it's no use to do that, and we're not ensuring that it's going to be absolute. So that will be the solution we are going to define, right? How we are going to design. So that will design that it's going to be absolute or not. So not from the requirements. Okay. Yep. Select the answer that best describes how to follow DCO. Oh, this actually when analyzing the requirement.
Did we cover this DCO, direct capture of objectives?
We'll cover that. Actually, that's actually required around 2 to 3 sessions. We'll cover pre, post, during the sessions, and all that are there.
Okay.
We cover that up. That will take 3 to 4 sessions for that itself.
So I think for this the answer will define only once we go through that session, or we'll find.
This is actually like,
are you gonna cover prototyping, case design, all these things also? Application design, application elaboration.
see, actually, like if you can see this one, this is one answer should be there, right? Based on the Pega, they actually like say enter information directly into the Pega. So that's the answers for it, this one. This is Pega solutions, right? And then they want that all the information, the requirements, specification, what we are going to write, enter that into Pega into that one. So that's the DCO of Pega answers for this one. It's not about like the detailed one about the DCO. It's actually that when we are doing for the Pega application, we should enter that into the Pega itself, the specification, requirements, objectives within that. Okay. All other things you normally do. Actually, other things actually we do that. But as what it makes to the difference with the Pega DCO, right? We including that into the Pega application itself. So that makes the difference. Okay. Yep. You are meeting with your team to review a list of existing requirements. Which requirement is? It's verifiable one or testable one?
One time on a panel.
Mukesh?
Yes.
Actually, I lost the voice here. Can you just move to the previous slide? So which one is the correct in that? The previous slide?
Okay. Previous one is the B. Enter information directly into the Pega.
Oh, okay.
Because that's the main thing on the DCO part. All other things we
Maybe I think, yeah, we will understand more like once we cover this DCO session, like what exactly the DCO means. And
right. Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The next one, which requirement is verifiable and testable?
I would put B, like user logged out of our application after 3 answers.
Yes, that's right. So that's actually like if you can say that's only say you can test it out.
Verify.
Like if you
Yeah.
can on time and on budget. What is on time and what budget? Like you don't have anything to measure that.
Yeah.
Right? You can test, you not test it. And the C also from which location, right? From any
Yeah.
location doesn't mean that which location you can test it. And the same thing, what do you mean by professional appearance?
Yeah.
To
Also
say that
user
professional
friendly,
appearance,
like what do you mean by
yeah,
user
what
friendly,
do you
right?
mean by user friendly, right? Like
Hmm.
should be not verifiable one. So what do you mean by it should be clickable one, or like it's not?
Hmm.
The requirement is not clear in that much. That's you cannot test it. So the B only we can able to test it properly. Okay. Yeah. You are working with stakeholder to categorized. Which of the following is a business rule? From this, which one is the business rule?
C,
C, I think, yeah, C.
Okay. Why not B?
export report format, report may be exported. That's system requirements.
Yeah, I think that's the contain solutions as well, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's actually we can say B is not there. And why not A?
Because they are involving database or requirements of the system, it cannot be business.
No, actually what A, actually we can say A.
Because they're talking about alarm database, and
Yeah,
so
actually we can say this is the change control, right?
yeah.
So because earlier it was initiating from alarm database, now they are going to initiate from web service. So this is a change from the existing one.
Hmm.
So this is actually a change control requirement,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So this is actually you can say B is industry standards. So we can say you want to export in industry standard specific. And why not D?
Email notification, system requirements, system sending email to notify user.
Yeah. So that you can see that you can have this the functional requirement, like how your system should behave, right? So
Hmm.
that's the is not the actual business requirement. So that's the your functional requirement. You can say that one. What it should do when you are going to for password change, right?
Hmm.
So that's the answer C. That's the business terminology into that one. Okay. Yeah. Next one. Which requirement is clear and concise?
It's confusing. I would say B
I
seems
think B. I think B. Yeah.
Which one?
B as in boy.
No, B is not correct. So it's a confusing one, right? Update the billing database to add Mexico. What do you mean by that?
Oh, update the billing database. Oh, okay, true. Then D as in David, like expense report approval, management report, and see all the research. D could be right.
No, that's actually like if you can say is not a granular one. If you can
Oh,
say
okay.
that manager should be able to approve expense report and all see the record associated with each report as well as the hotel where employee stayed, right?
Oh,
So if you can say it's not concise one, it's not granular one. It contains many things within that.
It's true.
Okay. And first one actually is a non-functional requirement.
Yeah.
So that's actually like it's not like how you see that stability and what actually how it can be updated to the future updates and all that. So that's also not clear one. So we left with the C. So do you see any difference in C? So if C is not clear or concise.
C is clear, yeah, because that's the only one left.
Yeah. So that's why actually C is the right answer onto that. So if users would be able to view the real-time balance for their online brokerage amount,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay. So that's the C is the answers for it. Okay. Yeah.
So we're gonna meet on January 7th, right?
Yeah. We're going to meet on January 7th now. Okay. So on that time, we'll talk about more on actually how we can capture the requirements within the Pega applications, and then we'll talk about the specifications. What is a specification? How we can write the good specifications from that, and then how we can capture the specification in Pega systems as well. We'll see that out. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll provide these PPTs to you so that you can refer that out. Okay.
Are you gonna follow the template for the CBP exam, like
Yeah.
those categories?
Yes. Actually, like if you can see, this is actually part of the categorize itself from the CPBA.
Mm-hmm.
So normally, like what I'm going to do is in the course, because some of the things in 7.2 does not contain
Oh, okay.
much of the Pega application. If you can see, uh, 7.2 mainly focus on more onto the business requirement role. But to understand some of the bit, you should understand some of the other Pegas, how Pega works as well, right? So,
Yes, true.
Okay.
That's true.
right. So actually we'll follow only that part. It will be like sometime you will not feel that actually you are working actually as a business architect in Pega. So you should understand some of the things like how you can create case, how you can create UI, right? How are the things, some of the little bit more technical bit, how you can create your decision rules, right? How the things are happen with the Pega. So we're going to cover that, some part of it as well, so that you will understand
Okay.
the how you can create stages, how you can create case flows, some of the bits of the Pega technical bit as well to create the
Right.
application.
Understood.
So that will give you some more like better understanding of the Pega application.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from like objectives, business specification,
Okay.
we'll take
Okay.
that like make you an architect as well.
Excellent. Looking forward to it.
Yes. Thanks, Rashid. Okay.
All right.
So
So I'll see you on January 7th, and Happy New Year. Okay.
yeah. So Merry Christmas first, and then
Okay.
actually we'll go for celebration.
Okay.
So today is
All right.
25th for us. So
Yes.
yes, so
All
then
right.
we'll go
Great.
for next week.
Okay. Good night.
Thank you. Bye bye. Good
Yeah,
night.
thanks. Thanks, Mukesh.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye bye.
Yeah, Mukesh, just please share this the documents and those things, stuff.
Yeah, I'll share that today. So I'll do
Okay.
that for go. Yeah.
Okay. Wish you a happy new year,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Merry Christmas. Bye bye.
Bye.